What's up, everyone? Let's do this. Who loves this country? Yeah? Anybody out there love this country? I sure do. Man, I'm excited to celebrate some freedom of speech tonight with you guys. Yes, this country is awesome. I love it. Freedom of religion is another good one. Anyone here religious? Yeah? At least agree? Yeah. I think it's awesome. I think it's awesome, and I love that people can choose whatever religion they want. You know? And we are happy when people find peace in those religions. But if you become too religious, we're also happy to send the ATF to burn your fucking house down. So be safe out there. Don't pray too hard. Anyone here that was raised religious but no longer practices? Yes, my people! Woo! Nobody talked to us about sex. Nobody. I got most of my sex talk from growing up from church. You know, which was just don't do it until you're married. And the youth pastor reciting confusing Bible verses damning masturbation. Or, as God would have it, the spilling of one's seed. One of these verses I always remembered is Genesis 38, 7 through 10. And this is about Judah, who has his oldest son killed by God because he was wicked. So oh my God. I'm sorry, guys. So Judah commands his other son, his younger son, Onan, to have sex with his dead brother's wife so she can have babies. But Onan, you see, is not cool with this. So instead of spilling inside of his dead brother's wife, he pulls out and he spills on the floor. God is angered by this, but only because of the spilling of his seed. And he causes Onan to die. So, God's cool with committing adultery with your dead brother's wife as long as you don't pull out. Maybe we were quick to judge Hunter Biden. I mean, they're a religious family. Surely he knows about God's no pulling out when fucking your dead brother's wife rule. He's good. Fun stuff. Because of the fear my youth pastor and the word of God put into my dick, I'm fucking this cord like Jonah was on. I was pretty spill-free until right after I turned 16. When, like a skinny, less talented Tim Tebow, I returned from a mission trip to Mexico, where I met a girl on this trip, and we started to talk. It was a big deal to be talking to a girl when you're an overly religious teen with acne, braces, and a mullet. There weren't many interested. Well, she said to me one night on the phone, I've been praying, and God told me he doesn't want us to be together. And she hung up. Well, my world was shattered. I've been loyal to God my whole life to this point. And the first chance he gets, he fucking cock-blocks me. So to get back at him, you know what I was doing. Spilling. Like Michael J. Fox eating soup on a roller coaster. Jesus wept. Now this mission trip I went on when I was 16 always felt kind of odd. We did help dig a well, paint a youth building. But what I remember most is hanging a large sheet in the square of this small Mexican town and showing the Passion of the Christ every night for a week. I guess to be sure they got the message. Which after a week just seems to be that Mel Gibson does not like Jews. But soon I felt better about this trip. Did not have to wait long, because Tim Tebow did an interview with the New York Times about what he does on his mission trips. He gets invited to assist doctors with some medical procedures. He is circumcising young, impoverished boys in the Philippines. To this day, he doesn't have a medical degree or background. And he goes back all the time through his Tim Tebow Foundation. So I feel a little better. All we did was force a small Mexican town to watch Mel Gibson direct the Jews to graphically murder Jesus for a week. Tim Tebow is a serial circumciser with 0 medical credentials. And they say we made enemies while fighting overseas. I mean, ISIS was bad. But we never sent Tim Tebow to crudely cut their dick skins off. Now that's a terrifying enemy. Alright, this next one's new. Fingers crossed. Alright, Easter's coming up. Yes. Does anybody here celebrate? Yeah? Yeah, Easter. Like, come on. Jesus was awesome, right? Yeah. I mean, he fed 5,000 people with like 5 loaves of bread and fish. You know, he cured blindness with mud. He cleaned people of leprosy. He made the ocean his bitch. And survived 40 days in the desert with no food. And Satan mind-fucking him the whole time. If you were a gambling man back then, Jesus was your sure bet. And I'm certain there was heavy money on him during the crucifixion. I mean, he's what? Up against some agitated Jews with thorns and sticks? With those odds, put me down for 500 shekels on the Virgin. But we all know what happened next. Jesus threw that fight and had Judas killed because no loose ends. Then the Son of God wakes up 3 days later, dodges his disciples, takes his cup from the Jews, and pieces out on a cloud. A holy money grab so well done, the true story has never been told. Until now, in the Passion of the Christ 2, the only begetting son, Mel Gibson's next anti-Semitic blockbuster. Jesus Christ.
The setup and the knockdown.
I was going for a different beginning, so I was thinking like maybe Ocean's 3:16. I don't know, you know. God damn it. This is what I do with my life. So as I briefly alluded to, I am a veteran. When I said the ISIS thing. And because I served and fought for Halliburton, I take any injustices that I see in everyday life very seriously. Especially that of equal representation. For instance, does anybody here struggle with naps like I do?
Yes.
Yeah. Living with a national average penis size comes with many challenges in today's society. Just recently, I was shopping for dildos. Let me tell you, I did not feel represented. I think dildos need labels on them, letting people know how much bigger they are than the national average penis size. Because, trust me, in the moment is not the time you want them learning what the average is. It's fucking terrifying. And if you don't believe me, then you've never found yourself in reverse cowgirl with someone pulling up who thinks they got clearance for 8, but all you got is 6. And if that person on top is drunk, you can say goodbye to their aim while they blindly hammer their body weight onto your dick. And the whole time, you're just one imagined inch away from disaster. That's why Safe sex for me has always been when I control the thrust. That way, when my dick falls out, it's on my own terms. I can't complain too much. When you're more represented in the butt plug section, anal sex is not elusive. Alright, so male enhancement pills are fake, yet they made over $200 million last year. They are slowly ruining the checking accounts of small dick people everywhere. And it's all a lot. But I think the solution is out there. Smashed tightly against a zipper, ready to be set free. I was recently on Reddit reading about a trans woman who's been shrinking her penis for the last 4 years using hormone therapy. Don't do that if you want to downsize. I'm looking for an upgrade. I got a bunch of sad dick pics on my phone to prove I'm your guy. I think trans women are missing out on the dick envy market. That's no snake oil between their legs. And they've been sewing penises on since the 90s. Clearly, the world's next billionaire is a well-endowed trans woman auctioning off her extra meat online. Dick swap would not only be the next Pornhub category, it would be our country's next hit show. Think of it. They would bring a bunch of small-dicked racists and bigots together with well-hung trans women of all types, with the goal of making each other's dreams come true. I'd watch it. I think a redistribution of dicks would equal less racism and bigotry in our country. Woo!
Amen, brother.
Yeah. As we enter into transracialism, dick first.
You get an inch, and you get an inch.
That's right. Listen, it's a lot, but all I'm really trying to say is please don't shrink your penis. Consider mine instead. My blood type's B positive, in case anyone's wondering. I have a line here. I don't know if it fits. I'm going to say it, and you guys kind of let me know if I should try and work it in. You know, it is really nice to know that there is finally a group of women out there that want my penis. Even though it is only because their penis is too big. Yeah? I should work on that one? I need to figure out where to put that one. God, this is dumb.
You learn it, it's good.
I know, but still, I spent hours on this stuff. I just have a hard time with, like, writing all these dick jokes and being like, this is productive. But, alright, on to the next terrible thing. Anyone ever found themselves in a situation where they had to do something they thought they would never have to do? Yeah?
Every day.
Every day. Okay, so you see, I believe that who we are and what we're willing to do really just depends on the situation. You know, I'm almost positive that the members of the Donner Party would have proudly declared at the beginning of their trip they would never eat their family members. But when the situation presented itself, they learned why they had 13 children. Appetizers. To me, it's the same with sexuality. Sorry, it's hard to come off cannibalizing and then going into sex. I don't.
No, that's hot.
I don't really understand declaring it. Mine seems to be more situational than a set thing. For instance, Adam, if you were to ask me what would it take for me to suck your dick, I would say, well, it depends on my situation. In my current state, I would need life-changing funds to do it willingly. But if I go 3 days without food and sleep, I'll do it for a cracker. If you add in the cold, I'll do it as long as we cuddle after. This is what military training taught me. Survival. Nothing's gay if you're trying to stay warm, they would tell us. Made you really start to understand all the ancient armies, like the Spartans. They were cold, hungry, tired, gone for years at a time. Of course they fucked each other. In Ranger School, by the third day in the cold mountains, I was already sharing a sleeping bag with a strange man to stay warm. You give me another month, I would have been a Spartan. Or at least the guy that'll suck your dick for a cracker. Either way, I'll survive. Oh man, this one's... Sorry, Grandma. I know you hate this one. I did a lot of work on it, so here we go. Who here has noticed things about them change as they get older? Oh yeah, it sucks. And it's interesting, right? Like I love onions now. Used to hate them. Crowds are becoming less and less appealing. And my commitment to come has dwindled significantly. When I was younger, my dick was hard when the wind blew. If a girl asked me to do something questionable while I was in pursuit of an orgasm, I was going to do it. In the days of endless boners and a mind full of tits and ass, I had no lines in the sand. But as I've gotten older, lines have begun to form. For example, I am now willing to wait the 5 to 7 days to not have period sex. When I was younger, that was not a barrier. I may have come up as the Joker once or twice. And while I was in the military, I would fly back on breaks to hang out, chase some pussy around a bonfire in a Missouri cow pasture. And because I had clothes of my dad's, I never traveled with luggage. Just the clothes on my back. Well, after one of these trips, I was getting ready to go in the airport to leave, but was delayed. You see, the pasture had provided, and I was getting some in the back seat of a car in the airport parking lot. It was period sex, but I did not care. But I'll tell you who did. The forever scarred family next to us quickly getting into their van. They cared, as every thrust was like a strike of Mel Gibson's hatchet in The Patriot. And my white t-shirt began to look like a Jackson Pollock painting. For any gay men out there struggling with my references, please just try and imagine this scenario with a few more earth tones. Now, because I had no change of clothes, this is how I had to walk into the airport. I thought for sure security guards were going to stop me. It looked like I had just taped a knife to my penis and went on a stabbing spree in the parking lot, with all the blood spatter evidence pointing to my crotch. Of course, when they saw it, they'd know murder was not possible. Wait, that dick? Luckily, I did not get stopped, which I thought was odd. But it was 2010. They probably just thought I was wearing the newest Affliction t-shirt. This allowed me time to quickly buy a $100 airport hoodie and stash my bloody evidence like a stall baby in the bathroom trash can. Now I just wait the 5 to 7 days to not have period sex. Jesus Christ. Yeah, that one was fun.
That was great, dude.
Okay, you ready? We're going to switch subjects. I've talked a lot about sex and weird things. We are going to move on. Who likes poop? Yes!
Oh, shit,
So I was watching TV the other night, and I saw this commercial for Cologuard, where everyone is singing about putting their poop in a box, sending it off in the mail to see if they have colon cancer. They sure make it seem enjoyable. Who here has ever used a public restroom?
Yeah.
Yes, all of us. It should be all of us. If not, you're a snub. Well, apparently the people at Cologuard never have. Because they give the U.S. population an attachment with a diameter of 3.5 inches to poop in. Let's see what that looks like. Right there. That's what you get to poop in. But it gets better. Not only must you aim like an Olympian, Cologuard requires your specimen to be no bigger than a walnut. Period. What does that mean? Just the nut? The nut with the shell? Or green off the tree? We don't know. You just have to figure it out. And once you've met all of Cologuard's vague and humiliating requirements, you now get to return your specimen. Now I must warn you, Cologuard requires you to leave your box of shit in a visible location. And they do not take their branding off the return packaging. Finally answering the question of, what's in the box? It's poop. It's poop. And because Cologuard is clearly a joke, they only ship UPS. So when they ask, what can Brown do for you? They can haul our nation's cancer-ridden shit in trucks that reach 140 degrees. It is no wonder those drivers went on strike for air conditioners. That is the same temperature as a porta potty in Afghanistan. Trust me, I know. I masturbated in those. Please think of that if you want to thank me for my service later. I thought about, because we're doing I got notes here. I thought about doing and here's a poor reenactment of that service. And then doing the.
Do it.
Yeah. And then passing out. Would that be funny or is that too
Yes,
much?
no, that'd be funny as fuck.
Okay, so if I was going to do a poor reenactment, because I've masturbated in desert porta potties here. You just have to rub it. Because you got to be ready. You cannot go into a 140 degree porta potty not prepped. You ain't going to make it. It's all about how long you hold your breath and how close you are to coming. So you just kind of got to work it. And then you got the other hand ready on the door. And then you just, once you're okay, I'm a minute to there, and so, working it. And then you open the door and you just hit it. There were a lot of good men lost. A lot of good men lost. No. I don't know if I could do that. That's a lot. That's a lot. I have to practice it in front of a mirror many times in a row. Okay. Alright, who likes the poop conversation? Because it's going to keep coming. More poop. Here it comes. Who here still uses scratchy, dry toilet paper to clean their nasty, smelly asshole?
I do.
Yes, fucking peasants. We are a country of toilet paper using peasants. You remember the shortage of 2020, right? The fear in our country that led to stockpiles across the nation, forever ensuring the preservation of mud butt and dingleberries in our culture. Because you see, people suck at wiping their ass. And you know who sucks the most at cleaning their asshole? Your kids. If you have kids at home that poorly attempt to wipe their ass, then you also have a washing machine full of tiny pieces of shit. I mean, listen, kids can't wipe. And us parents, we put up with it. Because there is nothing worse than wiping someone else's ass. I don't care how much you love them. And when it's not your kid, but deep love is involved, those wipes, those wipes, they led me to change the answer to the question, do you ever miss war? My nephew came over to play recently. He had to poop. Cool. He's 4. He's got this. After a few minutes, he yells for me. I'm thinking he wants to show me his turn. It's a guy thing. It's the closest we've gone to birth. I come in. He's standing against the wall. Hands up. Legs spread. Ass out. He turns and says, "Why me?" Now I'm one for letting everyone parent their children how they want, as long as it doesn't affect my life. But it was very clear in this moment that my sister's parenting style was affecting my life. Now in my head, with my see-through amount of dignity, I'm thinking, I am not going to do this. But oh, I did it. And I told him what a good job he did too. While the happiness in my life went cold, and the last remnants of my soul fell dormant. The Dementor's kiss. Yeah, nobody likes Harry Potter. I tried to piggyback on Harry Potter. So between becoming everyone's soulless post-poop bitch and my children's boxer briefs looking like they were filming Fast 15 in there, I bought a bidet attachment for my toilet, which I had never tried in my life. When I installed it, I had no previous experience in the area of water sprayed harshly at my asshole. I was just so tired of brown eyes and tiny pieces of shit in my washing machine. I was willing to try anything. Now, I had always imagined the bidet to be a soothing experience, clearly based off of nothing. Just strong beliefs that this would greatly benefit my family. Well, I removed any possibility of that soothing experience because I'm cheap and I bought the cold water only bidet. Like a high pressure cold plunge, just for the most tender of holes. The picture on the box was just a man screaming from shock. And certain penis retraction. It was as soothing as trying to remove mud from your body with a garden hose. If it's not coming off, just spray harder. The pressure control on my clearly cheap bidet has 15 dots to represent low and high pressure. I personally only go to dot 5, no higher. My balloon knot tends to untie around dot 6, when my bidet then goes into enema mode, which is not a feature listed in the manual, but a useful one for when you want to get a head start on the next morning's shit today. It's been a good buy. It's been a good buy. My laundry machine has stopped discharging wastewater, and Vin Diesel is no longer ruining my kids' underwear. I'm gonna get there with that. Alright, so I've mentioned that I gotta stop fucking this cold. I mentioned that I was in the military already, and one of the things that I get because of that is I get to go to the VA hospital. I went to the VA hospital the other day. The doctor explained to me that they were going to check my prostate. This was my first official prostate exam. I was a little nervous and kind of unaware of how the process would go. So when he asked me if I wanted a chaperone, I quickly said yes. And when the doctor came back in with a female chaperone, I was feeling better. Like someone was gonna have my back. Well, she walks up to me and I'm expecting something like, "This is what I've gone to school for. My eyes will never leave your asshole." But what I got when she came up to me was, "I'll be over here facing the wall." Which was clearly code to the doctor to molest this motherfucker. I immediately turned to plead with the woman to watch me get fingered. But the doctor was too quick. He interrupts me before I can even say anything and says, "Bend over the table at the waist." So, with my heart pounding, I bend over the table. I'm thinking I got this, alright? I've bent over before. Let's just get it over quick. But I knew I'd failed when I heard the doctor say, "Not like that." So, I paused. It's not like he gave me a pamphlet on how he wanted this to go. So I'm like, I'll just bend my knees more. But then he just said, "No." 3 more times we did this. I straightened my legs back out. I extended my arms. I laid on my belly on the table for this man. The whole time, he's on his knees with a smile on his face. Just like, no. I'm sure he threw a thumbs up to the chaperone, but she didn't fucking see it. She was facing the wall. Finally, I feel a hand gently rest on my lower back, push me down into the position that he wanted, and he inserted. I learned 2 things that day. I do not have colon cancer. And I should have just pooped in the box. This message was brought to you by Cologuard. Fuck those UPS drivers. We don't care if it's running. Jesus. Alright, so let's end it on some awesome shit. Who here likes guns? Woo! Second Amendment shit. Here we go. Freedom, baby! I love guns. I love it. But I do think that we can all agree that there are some people in this country, right, that they shouldn't have. Right? There's some people. We can agree on that, right? Well, how come if you're on the sexual predator list, you can still buy a van? I think we should relegate all sexual predators to horse and buggy. Really help cut down on child abduction. Surely would have slowed down Epstein. Do you know how long it takes to get to an island on a horse and buggy? Several months. But sadly, we would no longer trust the Amish. As our nation's predators would move near Amish communities to blend in. It sounds terrible. I know. But in the end, I honestly think it's a win-win. You see, the Amish have been around in America for 274 years. That's freedom. And they are famous for not accepting new members, yet continuing to have loads of children. That's incest. We get rid of the sex predators. The Amish get tons of new neighbors eager to help with their incest. That's a win-win. Man, you guys are rough. So I live in a small town up north, and I often wonder what my reputation is in that community. Well, I was at a parade with my kids the other day in this community, and I was handed a koozie that read, "Don't rape." They didn't hand these to anybody else around me. It clearly felt like a targeted ad. So, I've been working on my not a rapist vibe lately. If anybody has any tips after this, please come find me. I'll be out by the dumpsters with the horse and buggy. Thanks, guys. That's all I got. Guys,